Send a powerful message to those people who live in the past and tell them no more business as usual and no more repeat performances because we're going to make America great again.
Everyone, welcome once again to yet another star-studded, spectacular episode of Two Noobs Talking with my buddy John Tracy. Of course, I am Matt Craig. It's episode 54. John, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, and missed your intro because my intro was very bad last week. So glad to have you back. Giving a good intro.
It's great to be back, brother. It is definitely good to be back for sure. And we will definitely get to my adventures.
Absolutely.
At the end of this episode, which we're really looking forward to seeing for sure.
Absolutely.
But as always, John, as it's always been our tradition on Two Noobs, we've got numbers.
Yes, we do.
We're 54 in the city of Philadelphia.
We do. Let's start with J Trot. Because God, you can't. It runs downhill. Not a Ray Road guy. We love Ray Roads guys here.
Yeah. What was his name? He was the
Axeman. Yeah, Axeman.
He was the Axeman. And I think he was outside. I think Byron Evans was on the outside. I don't think Byron Evans is a middle linebacker. I could be wrong on that.
I think he was that middle linebacker. Because you had Joyner and then whomever on the other side. Yeah, and then Willie T took over.
Yeah.
You know, and then we never had a good middle linebacker until Trot came back. So it was Evans to Trot, and you can remember names like Mark Simino, who we didn't mention for 53 last week for reasons. But no, Trot 54 definitely. You have a Philly that might have had a number 54.
Mr. Perfect himself, Brad Lidge, brother. I mean, you can't go wrong with the best closer in the history of the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, outside of Mitch Williams, but he was the best ever closer.
Yes.
Gave us that championship. The slider for strike three was the greatest pitch I've ever seen in my life, Johnny.
Greatest call, greatest moment. But for listeners that aren't really familiar with Lidge is one of the greatest comeback stories ever. He's in Houston. He gives up a playoff home run, and not one that just like squeaked over the fence. Like he gave him like a 555 foot.
Yeah, like a moonshot. Yeah, one that destroys someone's career. Yeah,
in the playoffs for the Astros, gets traded to the Phillies.
Yeah.
Rebounds, wins a World Series in 2008. Like, that's just a story, like, everybody should know that story.
Just one of the best ever, yeah. And he's so beloved here, obviously, in the city. And, but we also have a couple. We're trying to think like anybody else who might have worn 54. You came up with a great one. Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I did it was he could run sideline to sideline, and Trot couldn't. Just joking.
Well, Trot was more north-south, you know what I mean? Yes. But Urlacher was everywhere. I mean, my God.
And he's also a scratch golfer, Urlacher. So
really?
He's an athlete. He's an athlete.
What else can he do? My God. And then, of course, we had a great one, the Sixers, that we just looked up. Kwame Brown wore 50.
Oh, good Kwame Brown. Yeah, saved the franchise pick by the old regime of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Part of the long process, right, Johnny? It was 2013 that he played.
Even though I love Kwame Brown, he's on TikTok and Twitter. He's great right now. If you don't know who Kwame Brown is, trust me, you'll find him. He's hilarious.
Awesome.
He hates Stephen A. Smith as much as I do.
All the nutcases on ESPN. It's great.
Exactly.
But, John, before we get started, brother, you know, on October 19th, 2020, you and I ventured into this unknown homegrown podcast called Two Noobs Talking.
Yeah.
And we have now officially hit 1 year. So in celebration, brother, I have an Old Stitch brown ale from Colonial Williamsburg. And I'm going to cheer to you, brother. I could not have asked.
Voodoo up.
There you go. You got some Voodoo Ranger. I could not have asked for a better co-host to do this with.
He really wanted Steve, but Steve's not available every week.
Steve's not available. He would have never done it. No, I'm kidding. But, I mean, we have over 1,850 views on our channel in a year.
Yeah.
Of all of the videos that we have done in the entire year, we cannot obviously do it without, not to mention all of our audio listeners and our video.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing year. Let's just talk about this entire year.
It has been an amazing journey, although small to some people. the fact that anybody, I said this to my wife, like, in preparation to even having to talk about this. Like, anybody that isn't required to listen to my BS every day that listens to it, it warms my heart. It's Two Noobs has done something for me that I don't think I don't think I've ever explained it to anybody what it's actually done. It's built my confidence. It was always a dream of mine to be on radio, sports radio, to be exact, when I was a kid. That's all I ever wanted to do. I would surround it when I was younger with tons of people that knew tons of stuff about sports. I like sports, but I was surrounded by, like, my one uncle knew what high school every NFL player went to. Like, it was on a level that I can't even achieve.
Yeah. To what that deep. Yeah, for sure.
But that's always what I want to do. But I did, it didn't work out. I didn't have the confidence when I was younger to pursue. We didn't have the technology that we have, that we can do this from my living room. Now it used to be
hotel room now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It used to have to be. It was harder to do it then. But in chasing this dream without even having a goal at the end of it has created like 12 to 13 different other things in my life that are so productive and awesome.
Awesome.
My love for creating art, my love for creating audio, I've taken Two Noobs is like my main focus, but it's taken me in so many other directions, and it's funsies, and I can't thank you enough for even, like, entertaining the idea, because I don't even know, like, the idea came up on Instagram for people that don't know. Like, we were doing this. I created this. Yeah, I created this thing because I was trying to bring people together in 2020. That was, like, my main goal, because social media, I had just moved to San Marcos, Texas. I didn't have my friends anymore from Dallas or from PA. Like, we had literally moved into the middle of nowhere. So I relied a lot on social media and phone calls to have friends, because I was in a brand new area, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to do is, on Instagram, I had seen that there was, and there still is, like, a good video chat kind of thing. So my first idea was I was gonna hit up because I have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of friends. Anybody, if I met you, I consider you a friend. Like, because you obviously, if I remember you, you had some kind of impact in my life. So what I wanted to do originally was, my concept was that I was gonna bring a different person on all the time, and we did that for a little bit, and then me and Matt had reconnected on a whole nother level. Like, we were tight when we were younger, but we connected on a whole nother level. So we started doing it, and the views started to go up and up and up and up. And we never ran out of anything to talk about. We were always challenging each other to talk. So that's where the podcast kind of came in.
Yeah.
Why don't we structure this? In a way, because
exactly.
it's so hard to hold the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was how kind of Two Noobs came about. I'll throw it over to my co-host, and he can move further.
Well, as you know, Johnny, I was initially hesitant. I'm usually hesitant to begin with. Whenever something like a new plan is in place or something like that, and someone has a new idea, and initially it's kind of like, okay, well, John wants to do this, and I'm like, well, not really sure. How are we going to do this? Like, what's our plan? What's our structure? And the more I kept thinking about it, it was like, I think from my side, it was like, Facebook for me was like, I was a junkie on Facebook. Absolute junkie on Facebook. Debate anybody on Facebook. All that kind of stuff. And it got to a point, really around 2016, 2017, I had enough of it. I pretty much was like, I can't get my point across. No one's looking at, no one's reading or commenting. I'm thinking, like, well, am I doing anything right? Am I doing anything wrong? I don't know. But I'm just putting my opinion out there. But I was not really engaging with anybody. It was just kind of like, and then you come along and you were like, well, let's do this thing on Instagram. And I'm like, I didn't even have an Instagram account back then. Didn't even have it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll check this out. I go and we do the couple of friends chats that we did in August. And I can remember we were talking about anything about the NFL, getting it right, with their social media and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, it's kind of really cool. And the more and more I kept thinking about it, I think you were just being drawn to the fact that we were getting along really, really well. Like we were talking, challenging each other, yes, but we were also respecting our opinions. Like no one was yelling and screaming, like between the two of us. We weren't like having a knockdown, drag out debate fight. We were actually.
Well, I think for both. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think for both of us, it was. We were creating exactly what we hated.
Yes.
And I think anybody that listens to us understands it. We hate the angry guy and the racist, and you can pick whoever is the one. That form of media is so jump the shark, overboard, bullshit, not what needs to be in the future. And it doesn't. Me and Matt don't agree on half the shit we talk about, but we can talk it out to have a good dialogue and a decent conversation to where we're not worried about if we're going to ever come back to the conversation.
Yeah.
Because we can see each other's point of views and move forward. And that's...
Yeah, exactly. So I kept thinking like, well, okay, how do we then present that? Because we didn't want to basically have two center-right guys talking politics all the time. My ultimate goal going into this whole thing with you was really to keep a 30,000-foot view.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that was probably the most important thing for the two of us, because that kind of gave us an overall goal. How do we look at the view of someone writing a opinion piece, writing something that's happening in news, but then vaulting that up high and thinking critically about it from a much higher standpoint than a conservative talking point or a liberal talking point. Either one of the two.
Absolutely. And which and then Cuomo came about, and now we're here.
Yeah, we successfully kicked him out of office because we were not kidding.
The Macho Man says.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then Cuomo happened, and then Whitmer happened, and then then we were off to the races. Like, writing is fun. Like
anything really. I mean, you think about it. 2020. We had the contentious election. We both kind of thought, okay, well, it's status quo for the country. Yeah, we've always had contentious elections. Everybody was freaking out over Biden. Now Biden's a piece
There's nothing more American than a fixed election. Come on now.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just the little things like that kind of just have built up and up and up. And for those that have been with us for a long, long time, we really, really appreciate you. We have a very low subscriber count, but we don't matter about that. It doesn't matter to us. Obviously, we would love to get close to, even more. And we will, ultimately. But we're really thrilled, and we're so grateful and thankful to our audio listeners, our video listeners.
Yes.
And not to mention all the guests we've had over the years, which will...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You all be shouted out.
Absolutely. It's just been amazing. Yeah, we've had Major General to, like, people that have talked nothing but wrestling to... you name it. And Flyers hockey, we've even had some colorful characters that have even graced us with their presence.
We've had a few.
Got a few, so, but it's been great. That's for sure. So, Johnny, congratulations, brother. Let's move on to year 2. What do you say? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's see where we go.
So, in celebration of that, topic 1, the New York Post had an interesting article. We let off, of course, kick the whole thing off with 2 news.
Yeah, you can check out. Yes, you can check out episode 1. For this story. This story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a New York Post article. We'll throw it up on the screen here.
Yep.
This is the vindication.
Yeah.
This is the vindication that everybody that knew this story was real. It wasn't Russian disinformation. It wasn't election disinformation. Hunter Biden and subsequently Joe Biden are criminal.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And we knew it before he was elected, and we now know it after he was elected. Exactly. The New York Post is just running this as a reminder, basically. It's an editorial piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same stuff we were saying in the beginning. We've known Joe Biden has been shifty since he got into this game.
And not to mention his son. His son is probably... It's sad. but at the same time, it's also like, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're that big of a piece of shit, it isn't sad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
terrible.
It's just one of these things when you look at it. It's amazing that here, and it hasn't gone away.
No, and it's not going to go away. It's
Yeah.
not going away.
This stench is going to be with them for the rest of their lives.
It's not going, whether the media or the Justice Department is going to do anything about it. At least for people, and this isn't political at all. This is not a political comment at all. Mm-hmm. These two people are disgustingly dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disgustingly dirty.
Yeah.
And they shared a bank account.
Nothing clean about this.
Yeah,
at all.
they shared a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
So if one's a criminal, the other one's a criminal. Why do you share a bank account with your
son? Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you pay $500? Why are you so behind your taxes to the tune of $500,000? Like, what's going on there? Yeah. I read somewhere, John, that the president makes $400,000 in annual salary. So if the president makes $400,000 just this now, how does the president of the United States currently owe $500,000 in back taxes? Like, where is this additional money coming from?
Yeah.
It's just something to think about,
Yeah, because how much does the senator get paid? Less than the president?
Right. This stench is going to be with them forever, unfortunately.
With every other stench that he has. I mean,
With
the
every
dude
other
can't hold a
stench.
border. The dude gave his director of whatever is on maternity leave while we're in a crisis to get stuff places.
Meanwhile, ships are just sitting out there in the Pacific Ocean.
It's
it's like, and they're all worried about this being a holiday shortage. I don't know about you, John, but I'm planning to give away gifts for my family of you want to go out somewhere to eat? Yeah, okay. That kind of deal. Let's go to a restaurant. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's be together instead of getting shit. It's like, let's just.
Well, that's the most important. That's the thing. That's the funny thing about it. I was talking to my wife about this earlier today, about a supply shortage of stuff, and we really don't like stuff. So, is it really as long as there's toilet paper and Kleenexes and paper towels and food,
yeah,
and food, most people will be okay.
Yeah.
I know some people that won't be okay, but that's fine.
Yeah. And having clothing and something to wear.
Yeah, they'll learn to figure that out.
Exactly.
I'm a minimalist, so I don't. Shortages don't worry me.
No.
But I understand that they do worry other people.
Other people. Oh, sure.
But definitely, I'm not worried. But yeah, he's just got so much on his plate. Like the fact that the New York Post is going to slap him in the face now shows how much of a douche he really is.
Yeah. I mean, it really is sad to see. And it's like, whether or not it's intentional, we could get into that political debate, but
yeah.
To be
I mean, it's just you want to get into a political debate. Look at all the polls that are going on right now, saying that people that voted for him wouldn't have voted for him.
1 out of 5 now regret their
literally.
vote. I mean,
Now one out of 5. So you're talking 81 million to 73 million, right? That was the election thing, right? So now 1 in 5. Do the math on that.
Significant, yeah. You're talking about 20.
So if you're literally now you're getting a 1 in 5 poll that would not vote for Biden, Trump would be your president right now.
Exactly.
That's a big
Such a contentious election. Yeah.
That's a big FU, no pun intended, to all the chants. Let's go, Brandon. That piece of shit needs to be fired. Yeah, that piece of shit needs to be fired. That NASCAR reporter.
Oh, I know.
What an idiot!
Oh my gosh, you want to talk about that?
Cut
Are you
out.
that deaf to are you that ignorant? Seriously.
It's the ignorant part. It's not the deaf part. It's the fact that she knew what they were saying and made a corporate play. She doesn't. She's a piece of shit, is what she is.
We're going to get to the media in this podcast for sure. But yeah, let's move quickly then to topic 2, Johnny. Of course, part of us being wonderful hosts here on Two Noobs and hosting on Facebook.
Speak for yourself.
we have launched attacks on big tech, and we're proud of those attacks, right, Johnny? I mean, at the end of the day, Facebook doing Facebook things, John. They have permanently banned a developer after he made an app. Now, get this.
Yep.
To let users delete their news feed.
Yep. And this isn't an Axio piece. This is a Business Insider piece.
This is a Business
This
Insider.
is where they actually do research. Yeah. He was thrown off the platform because he created a rig around their platform. He created something that obviously is not available on Facebook. They wouldn't even allow it. So he's not allowed to speak about it. It sounds like the 1950s there. He created something. He's not allowed to speak about it because he's not on the platform anymore. It doesn't exist.
What was shocking to me was the name of the app was called Unfollow Everything. It was available in Google Chrome only, not on the App Store for you Apple aficionados out there. It was available in July of 2020. It drew the attention of a Swiss university who wanted to study the impact of having no newsfeed on people's happiness on Facebook.
I totally would have.
Is written into that article, John, because I've seen articles, I don't know about you, where it's like the amount of social media that's being digested, not just by people, but by young people, are just like the ill effects are astonishingly bad at the end of the day.
Well, Facebook is the most toxic thing ever, but if you could delete your news feed, and you would just see posts of your friends, you know how much happier Facebook would be like circa 2008?
Yeah.
When Facebook was actually a
legit thing to share your photos and get in touch with people? Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
You know, like Facebook was Instagram?
Oh. And yet Facebook was like, no, we have to protect our intellectual property. And so they ended up sending this developer a cease and desist letter and basically kicked them off the platform.
Yeah. And then to be honest with you, then Zuckerberg probably went to go have fucking dinner with Hunter Biden.
Amazing.
Because
if it was, like, looking at this, the app only had 2,500 weekly active users, I should say, 10,000 downloads. That's it.
I bet you if you put that out right now, it would have 2.7 billion.
10 times. Yeah. Easily. Minimal. 10 times. Yeah.
Easy. Every country. I think the U.S. would be a little slow. Because
I would be like, oh my God, I would sign up for that so freaking fast.
I would download it immediately.
Oh, immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah, because you eliminate both left and right news, and that's fine with me. I'm perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. But yeah, I it's just like, it also goes back to what we were talking about. I think it was, what was it called? Section 230?
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's coming. I mean, the Congress is slow. That's the one thing that people who listen to us need to understand. Yeah. They're slow. They are slow. Yeah. Ted Cruz is still talking about the border. Yeah. He should be doing other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, 230 is not going to be. 2022. Once 2022 hits,
it might have to be like a 2024 thing.
Maybe. It's probably going to be a 20. But you need to get normal people elected before you can do you need to at this point, like, because normal people, like, say what you want about Herschel Walker, like, he's important, like, you need him. If you listen to us, you need him. He might be a Republican, but he's not an idiot.
Yeah, he's not part of the establishment, essentially.
Exactly. Like, it's important. Like these people are important. Like, Larry Elder is important. And I know what the mainstream media is going to do. They're going to paint him as white supremacist black people. They're not. They're normal. They're speaking what we're speaking. It's key. Like, 2022 is so huge. Huge. I can't even say how big it is.
Well, and you
to
look
get
at it,
these blood-sucking assholes out of office that think they know better than you.
Yeah. When you look at it, Johnny,
because they don't.
Data right now It not looking good if you're on that side of that aisle. It's not looking good, and
It's not even the left because there's a ton of Republicans that suck.
Oh, sure.
I said this on the 52 with Steve. There literally is an active governor campaign in Texas that he is running as a real Republican. What does that mean?
Yeah. Does
That
that mean that somebody that actually is beholden to the Republican Party, or is that somebody that is your typical
trying to do the norm, like a Democrat and a Republican? If you stick a Democrat and a normal Democrat and Republican, like a center left, a center right, you stick them in a room, I bet you we'd figure some things out.
Yeah.
Pretty simply.
Yeah,
Because I know a lot. Trust me, I know a ton of center left people. I'm a little bit center right. I'm still in the middle. I lean a little bit. Sometimes I lean a little left. Sometimes a little, Matt's the same way. Like he still leans a little this way. But that's what you need. If you had two of those people in a room, we'd probably solve stuff.
You have to actually call the extremists out, the actual extremists out.
Yeah, because that's what the media has created, these parties of extremists.
It's like anybody is an extremist. No, not everybody.
No, it's because
opinion.
Because that's the funny thing of communism. Because that's what happens. The two extremist parties start calling the normal people extremist, so they get what they want.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you want. That's why we call Trump out. That's why we call Biden out. That's why we don't want those, and you don't need. A bird does not fly by the tip of the wing.
Exactly.
Quote me on that.
Exactly. Great point. So, topic 3, as we move on, it's another one of our Fab Five updates, Johnny.
Oh, jeez. Did we get fireworks for that one?
I was just going to say, well, we're going to have a transition, but you, of course, famously called, I think the Fab Five consists of Wolf, Murphy, Whitmer, Newsom, and
Cuomo.
Cuomo. Thank you.
Yes.
That scumbag
in jail. Booted out Cuomo. At least we were right on one thing.
And we've always had people kind of come in and come out, right? I mean, we always had line
changes.
Well,
the Fab Five is a basketball team from Michigan, so you got to think there's at least 12 to 13 to 15.
That's a good bench players, absolutely.
Yeah, so you need practice squad players. You bring them in, you sub them in. Like we understand what the sixth man is. Like Fauci's our sixth man. We get it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all basketball, jokish. I hopefully people would get that.
I guess the only question I would have to ask you is, would you be that much of a narcissist to work if your own home office? I know you're out on the road, but if you had a home office, would you have a portrait of yourself to look at?
Oh yeah, all day long, dude. All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. Look at this face. Look at this face. Now, come on. You okay?
Mustache off. I don't know.
not to risk not having listeners. But if you have a portrait of yourself in your own house of just you, male, female, does not matter, or 27 other genders, doesn't matter. You are the problem.
You are a huge part of the problem.
End of story.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm literally. Yeah. It does not matter. If you think that highly of yourself, you're a part of the problem. Biden probably has a picture of himself.
Oh, yeah.
Trump probably has a picture of himself.
Absolutely.
Fauci definitely does, apparently, because it's saying it.
What's really amazing, it's like it's almost like it's a life-size portrait. I'm looking at it right now, John. I'm going to throw it up here on screen. We're going to throw this tweet up, but it's unbelievable. It's like 11 by 17.
At least Jeffrey Epstein had pictures of criminals doing bad things in his photo. He didn't have a picture of himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, he just had pictures of everybody else.
That whole Fauci documentary, I mean, it's getting like destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes. Absolutely destroyed, and rightfully so.
What is it, like a 0.2 approval rating for that thing?
Like 90, easily like 95, 96%, like negative.
question, does that go on the person who wrote it, or does it go on Fauci himself? That's the question.
I think it was.
Is that a terribly made documentary about a shitty person, or is it a good documentary about a shitty person? So that's the question you have to ask.
Exactly. That's a great question. But then, of course, like, he also has PTSD, the poor guy. I mean, John, you know, the Riddler, when you lied through your teeth back and forth, I guess you're going to have post-traumatic stress disorder at the end of the day. Of course, he had it, you know, through the HIV/AIDS crisis when he was trying to create the vaccine. And
you kill Africa? Yeah, I know. I know all about him. My question is to Steve. Here's the question to Steve. We'll put this out to Steve because we'd like to bring him into the show.
Love it.
So if the Riddler in the middle of Batman Forever was like, I gotta stop everything, I got PTSD, would that be a great scene? Probably not. Fauci should probably, I don't know.
I cannot wait until he goes away forever.
I'm gonna be a doctor for a minute because he's a fake doctor. I'll be a fake doctor. Let me put my coat on or whatever.
Dr. John
I'm gonna be
Tracy?
a fake doctor. I prescribe him 27 milligrams of shut the fuck up for the rest of his life. Just go away at this point.
STFD.
Just go away.
Yeah.
Like, you are not the czar of the coronavirus. The UAE doesn't even acknowledge the coronavirus. So you're not the czar. You're not what you think you are. Go away.
Yeah.
It's probably the last time we're ever going to talk about him on the podcast because
I hope so. Because I'm tired of
him. Go away.
Too. I'm tired of him saying, "Oh well, you know, it's too soon to really know if Christmas is going to be on." Like, it's his responsibility to let us know.
It isn't.
Screw you, pal. Screw you.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. So it's like, I will celebrate the day when he goes away for good.
And just
like retires and goes away. That's what I mean.
Or goes to jail.
You
should probably go to before even this pandemic. You should probably be in jail for the AIDS vaccine where you killed
hundreds of thousands of people. And
it was I don't even know the number. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Real quick, just another business insider we want to throw up is this article about Merck. Merck right now is trying to get a therapeutic pill for coronavirus, and I just wanted to put this with the Fauci thing to understand, like, Fauci is a part of Big Pharma. Yep. So we don't want to just call out Fauci and, hate on Fauci. I want to actually educate people on this. So Merck is asking for FDA approval for this medicine, which is this is not, again, it is not about the virus. It's about the corruption
behind it. Yep.
I have no issue with Merck asking them or this pill being out there. It's a really good idea because hopefully, next year when I get coronavirus, I'll be able to go to my doctor and my doctor will prescribe something to me where it won't be as bad and everything will be fine. And that goes for everybody should want that.
Yeah, if anything,
the same thing as, if we're going to live with it, we might as well look at it as, I'm going to get it next year, so I might as well have something. Here's my problem. Merck is charging $700. It's not to the person because you have insurance, so you're going to pay whatever your copay is, but they're charging $700 to your insurance company.
Yeah.
That's what Big Pharma does.
$712 per treatment course for the U.S., and the U.S. agreed to pay that, Johnny.
And you wonder why assholes like Biden can put Obamacare back out there that charge you a ton of money. See where I'm going with this? It goes hand in hand.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I think you made mention on this on the podcast a few weeks ago. You said, Pfizer, Moderna didn't create the vaccines out of the goodness of their heart. They made it to make money.
Because the government is paying for it.
Because the government's paying for it, exactly. They want that emergency use authorization. It's the fast track to get everything done.
And I'm not saying we're all angels. Trust me. Like, if you can get yours in a legal way, and this is what Big Pharma's do. They're doing it legally. They're not doing it illegally. Yeah. That's the thing that we need to look at. Supply and demand. If you can get yours, get yours. But the thing is, don't create a culture around you getting yours, and that's what they're doing. They're creating a culture of that the people that don't play their game are evil and the people that do play their game are awesome, while they're making hand over fist more money than the average American person could ever dream about.
Oh, sure.
The CEO of Merck, the CEO of Pfizer, the CEO, they live in places you don't even know exist. But they're out there, and they've been out there telling you you're wrong for your decision, whether it's this side or this side. That's the
whether
thing.
Or not,
These politicians aren't living next door to you.
Or whether or not, the idea of eating right and having good exercise and sleeping
and you're still
not
wrong.
even on the radar for most Americans.
No, you're still wrong. Yeah, you're still wrong.
You're still wrong.
Because of the big pharma thing.
You still want to get the pill. It's kind of like, enough with the pills already. It's like, I think we've been pilling ourselves to death.
I agree. I agree, but I'm also not going to shit on the pill.
No.
Like, at all, because it's an alternative.
Right, and I get that. But my point is, like, how many times do we have to, you got to take this pill to get this result. You got to take that pill to get this result,
well, You know me well enough to know that, it's more diet and exercise with me.
Yep.
But
I drinking beer.
Yeah, but the government said it was bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And yet, I found another, I think it was an article I sent to you earlier. We'll throw this in the show notes. Why not? Aspirin. They're saying, if you take aspirin during this pandemic,
it works. It works out well for you. Yeah.
Shaved in half. So it's like, so what, it's like I was mentioning this to my buddy Steve the other day, or actually it was today, and I was like, at what point are we going to say, look, we know what this virus is now doing. Can we please drop the mandates? Can we please drop the masks? And his whole thing was, well, if someone asks me to wear it, I'll wear it. It's like, I don't have a problem with that. But at some point, we're beyond this now. This is a year and a half where people have to wear the mask, and it's like they're required or strongly recommended to wear it. And I'm thinking, like, we know this virus now. We do.
I'll make it a little bit clearer.
It's not novel, is my point.
So I stopped on my way home from work today. I stopped to get a few things.
Yep.
At a local gas station or whatever. Okay. The sign was about the size of the screen that you would see one of us in. Okay, like, it was a big sign. And it literally, this is how people are. This is not a me story. This is generally, there was 100 people, at least 100 people in this store that I went into. The sign on the door said, mandatory mask, no service without wearing a mask. And this is now, okay? This is October 16th, 2021, okay? This is a year. This is a year. We are so far.
Like 18 months.
Yeah. We are so far. This is over a year of when the pandemic hit. Okay.
Like, it's not a novel virus. Everybody knows this virus exists.
We all know. We all know what he looks like. We all know what the burger looks like, what he was wearing, and what car he fled in, and where he went. If a police officer was like, we still can't find him, you'd be a little suspect. So I walk in. There are 3 out of 100 plus wearing a mask.
Wow.
Nobody's fighting. Nobody's arguing. No, we're just getting our stuff and we're getting out.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
It's time to take the bullshit facade. I mean, if you want to wear a mask until your dying day, please, by all means, because that is your right.
Yeah.
But don't wear a mask and infringe upon other people. Because, and this goes for, don't wear a mask and don't infringe upon people. Because it's none of your goddamn business either way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stop worrying about the dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. It's going to be around forever.
It's important to live your life really with, like, are there risks involved? Yes. But that doesn't mean that you have to live a sedentary life, really, where you're just sitting around on the couch all day, being protected in your own little bubble. Because I get that sense, not only just in general society, John, but in corporate work. I see that. I see the fear and I see the anxiety over this.
But here's the funny thing. You see the anxiety and you see the fear, but what happens is, so people now work at home, right? But their kids,
which is killing professional development, by the way.
Exactly, it totally is. But what you're also saying is, okay, so in half the situations, the kids are at home. Okay, so now the kids are at home, the husband's home, the wife's at home. So you have a family unit that is completely sterile in their own environment. So when they go out, when they go to Walmart, the mess isn't really going to do anything. I'm talking about like the touching and unless you're wearing a hazmat suit at this point, you're not saving much.
No.
Because what you're bringing home is you're bringing home the common cold, the common flu. You're bringing home the novel coronavirus. It's all happening.
Oh yeah.
It's all, you're bringing home some. I mean, my house had a stomach bug and it ran rapid for like 2 weeks. I was in and out. We have a small child that goes to school. We have a older child that goes to work. Normally the adults were fine. We introduced the child into it. All of a sudden we got stomach bugs going. Yeah. Like, it happens. I was only down for a day. My wife was down for like 3 days. My daughter, I think, was down for 2 days. The kid was down for like, the little one was down for like 1 day. It's probably just a basic stomach virus. But I'm saying, like, even though you're working from home and even though you're isolating yourself, you're still going out. Like, if you're not taking all the precautions, you're really not. Like, the little stuff isn't helping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they want you to do that. Like, they really do. Why do you think Clorox sells so many products?
Oh, sure. Yeah. They're making a fortune too. To be honest with you. But yeah, it's something to really kind of stop to think about. For me, it's always been living at home alone. I don't get the stomach bugs. I don't get all
You're
of these
less likely to get infected.
I'm less likely to get infected. But it is killing me professionally. This is where I think it drives me crazy on LinkedIn. Because it's like, oh, I love working from home. I could do whatever the hell I want. I can, do this. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you going to grow in your career when all you're doing is sitting at home working? Are you going to be that happy with your life?
That's a tough.
Sitting at home, working from home for the rest of your life, not meeting other people and not taking that risk. I'm not saying being like brazen with it. I'm just saying the fear of missing out on growing with your own career is like, you are basically just saying, I would much rather be in this position and, just going through the motions than rather taking a chance. And we need people to take chances. That's what makes the country really, really not good, but great. People that are willing to take those chances, people that are willing to go out and take those risks to better not only themselves, but other people around them. And I think that's what has really bothered me, just from a professional development standpoint, Johnny. That's what really is just, it drives me up a wall sometimes, because I'm sitting here kind of going like, I don't know what else I need to do at the end of the day, rather than just sitting here and just doing what I do. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll do my laundry. That's not what I'm called to do. Sorry. That's just not what I'm called to do. I do that on the weekends. I should do that on the weekends. That kind of a deal.
So true. Absolutely.
It's like, but that's crazy. That's crazy. But let's just go ahead then. I'll just introduce John. While you step away for a minute, I'll talk a little bit about this National Review article here. And we'll throw this up on screen. America's trust in media falls to second lowest level ever recorded in a new poll. And so this is really interesting. It's a National Review page or article here. Americans' trust in news media fell to the second lowest ever recorded in a Gallup survey released Thursday. And just 36% of respondents said they had some level of trust in mass media, including newspapers, television, and radio, to report news accurately. That percentage included 29% who said they had a fair amount of trust in the media, while just 7% said that they have a great deal of trust. So if we stop to think about this, this has always been a bone of contention really for two noobs. The trust in media has really been a struggle, really for a long, long time, probably easily over the last 20, 25 years that I can remember. And you see the argument back and forth, don't you, Johnny, when it's talking about like, oh my gosh, if you're conservative, you don't trust CNN. If you're a liberal, you damn sure don't trust Fox News, that kind of a deal. What are your thoughts on this, with this article? I mean, 38% saying, that, or 36% saying that they had some level of trust, not full, crazy.
Wow. You would think
7% said that they had a great deal of trust. 7% of people.
7% of how many billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
I don't think anybody trusts the media at this point. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that trusts the media. Like someone likes the Detroit Lions. I mean, there's there's somebody out there that is a glutton for punishment.
Someone out there must love Chris Cuomo's show.
Yeah. I don't think his wife likes him.
Exactly. But it is concerning, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, because
I don't think it's concerning. I think it's good in a way that we don't trust the media, because alternative media will always so everything will always find its way, and that's the one thing that I like about it. The traditional media, it's been dog shit for years.
Yeah.
It's now I think people are really starting to understand that they need alternate opinions, and they need it from different places, and it might not be from the corporate entities that own everything. Shouldn't be telling you how to feel.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, to me it's like, I think back to really talk radio. We memorialized Rush, of course, earlier this year when he passed, but he really kind of, I guess you could say, put a stake in the ground and saying, like, there is an alternative media. I'm it.
Yeah.
A little bit of ego there.
And Bongino's kind of taking up his which I don't hate Dan Bongino, but I also don't.
No. But certainly
I'm not that right.
That advent of, back then, of course, you're talking late 80s, it was mostly, you had your newspapers, your three major networks, CBS, NBC, and ABC, and then, of course, like, you had your Washington Post, New York Times. They dominated, 100% monopoly. Yeah. And it was like whatever they wanted to put in, they'll put in. Back then it was, I guess you could say, tolerated. But it definitely, back then it was like no one was really paying that much attention to the news.
But now they're more paying attention to Rogan, Shapiro, Bongino, Stewart, Bill Maher.
Yeah. And they're gathering, that's the thing. It's like they're gathering their media. But what they're doing is they're presenting it in such a way that's making you think a little bit more. I think that's the difference, I think. Whereas media gathers in the information, and if you're talking like your basic like cable news network, in the back of your mind, you're being fed some horse shit at the end of the day.
I would hope you would. The Mad Owls and the whatever. The same thing. It was the same thing when can't even remember his name.
Help me out. What do you think? What are you thinking?
CNN. The Don Lemon. Don Lemon's.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don Lemon's heyday, before we know him now.
Yep.
Like, there's so many.
Yes.
There's so many of them. That
news commentators, yeah.
That shot onto the national scene.
Oh, yeah.
When they were what is happening now. Yeah. But they're against it now.
Yeah.
Like Don Lemon was against the grain until he got to the grain, and now he's for the grain. Now he's running with the corporate mantra, which
Tucker. You say the same thing about Tucker.
Exactly same thing about Tucker. Here's the thing. I don't hate you for it.
No.
But
I guess
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that the corporate grab. Like, I get it.
We have to present this. We're going to have this personality present this frame of news. and therefore you're going to have a faction of people that are being like,
Yeah.
I love Tucker, I love Don
Well,
Lemon.
just look how bad ESPN has come.
Oh yeah,
And I'm gonna say this and say whatever you want about me, but I'm literally gonna say this. So God rest his soul, Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen had probably the most popular show ever on TV. Okay, they were the best at it. They were the antithesis of what entertaining sports news should be. So you know what ESPN did? They duplicated it with random black guy, random white guy for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
Because that's what corporate does. They have no feeling. They have no... So they just gave you... And it didn't matter who the person was.
They have to be cranked up. Their personalities have to be cranked up to 976.
Exactly. When... In reality, what we fell in love with was the fact that Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott that was their personality.
That was their personality. Yeah.
And that's why they're revered.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's what the major news networks learn that from ESPN. And that's all they do.
Yeah.
They're literally treating whatever culture you're a part of, they're treating your culture like shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they think that to combat racism, oh well, everybody needs a black person to have a voice, or everybody needs a white person to have a voice, or we need a mix in it. Instead of just putting 2 or 3 intelligent people up there, doesn't matter what race they are.
No.
Because I bet you'll find it, and you'll find the people you're looking for in any race. You'll find the intelligent. Just look. Look for the intelligence. Trust me. It's over the board. It's in every race. There's intelligence and stupidity in every race. You'll find it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Just putting those people, the intelligent ones, on. Trust me, you would have a great argument. You'd have a great understanding, and everybody would probably get along better if you would just follow that template instead of I need 2 black people, 1 white person, I need an Asian person over here, and I need a set blue with the capital behind it. That's what they do.
That's what they do. And that's the thing that always is amazing to me, John, when I sit back and I see the media, because it's like they're trying to have a conversation with you. The problem is it's a one-way.
They're bringing props.
Yeah.
It's like
a one-way conversation. It's not something that you're able to respond back to them.
Genius thought right there. Okay, so here's I'm gonna make since I'm dumb, I'm gonna go dumb for everybody so we can all understand. That's literally like the clown getting out of the car and ripping off his clown costume and saying I'm a zebra.
Exactly.
What did you come for?
Exactly.
The clown's out of the car, right? You went to the circus.
Yeah.
To see the clowns get out of the car. Yeah. He comes out and he's like, well, I'm a zebra. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's literally what they do. They come to an intellectual conversation and they're like, well, we've got all the requirements for the conversation, but we didn't bring the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And then
because that's what Don Lemon does every day. And that's what Chris Cuomo does every day. They beat the criteria of the conversation. They just didn't bring the conversation.
And then they'll hit you with a commercial.
And then call you racist.
Dream about this. They dream about that. This pill for that. This thing over here. This car sold for over here.
And if you disagree with me, you're racist.
Cycle. Yeah.
That's all that. And that's not. We're not just calling out CNN. That's also on Fox too. They do the same shit. How many shows did Dan Bongino fucking have at this point?
Oh my god.
He's on like 173 shows.
How many times has he been on Fox just alone? My god.
I don't know.
Like, how many times do we have to have him as a contributor? You know, it's like, come on, like, get on with your. And I understand people have a living to make, but I mean, come on. I do listen to his podcast. I do not listen to his radio show. I listen to his podcast because he's quick with the news. I don't listen to the bullshit that he spews, but I definitely listen to the news that he's talking about. Yeah.
Because I need to know what. I do the same exact thing on the left. I need to know what they're talking about to produce a podcast. So I don't want to talk about, clowns and flowers if we're talking about Joe Biden being a criminal. Yeah. I want to kind of be on the pace of it. That's my concept. So I listen to it. I don't listen in depth to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how inundated the right and the left will go just to get their point across.
Yeah.
But the problem is they don't have a point. They're just pointing at each other.
Exactly.
All Bongino does, he spends his entire, and he makes them. To be honest with you, if someone would come to me and give me 6 figures to literally go on TV every day and call somebody stupid, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. I don't think I'd decline.
No.
Maybe I would, because I really wouldn't want to call anybody stupid. But you know what I mean? Like, that's an easy job to have.
Easily. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
And Bill Maher was the flip side back in the day. He's not so much now. Because the left even ran him out.
What's amazing with him is, like, he's turned more moderate, I think. Maybe dabbled a little bit in conservative. I made that point a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they ran him out.
Dude, like, he's looking at the left going, like, I'm sorry, I really don't know who the heck you are anymore. You're not.
Well, socialism does that to people.
Exactly.
Because I think even the leftist of person, just having a basic conversation, and you don't have to have it with a former left, which I mean, like, in the 90s, if you were like voting Democrat, if you had a conversation with another Democrat from the 90s, you're probably going to be having a moderate to conservative conversation. A lot of what did Andrew Yang say? I didn't leave the party left me.
Yeah.
There was a couple other people.
I'm wondering how many Americans have felt that way over the last.
I mean, 73 million voted for Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think there's 73 million Trump supporters.
I don't think so either.
I'm just saying.
But it's an interesting conversation. Yeah.
Trump at his best probably polls 21 million.
At
his best. I mean, at his best. And I mean, campaign Trump.
You're talking hardcore people, right?
Yeah, I'm talking like campaign Trump where he curses. He's actually really funny. I love watching him.
I know you've said to me before, he's like, you're a big campaign Trump guy.
I'm a big campaign Trump fan. He's what I want to be. Like, he's very open, very charismatic, very normal, basic. He's not businessman, asshole, toupee wearing, teleprompter, reading.
He's
campaign. He's real Trump when he's like, he's what the rap songs were about in the 90s. Like, he's the original, like, campaign Trump is that guy. Yeah. The one that America actually liked.
Yeah.
Because he's not afraid of the F word. He's not afraid to say he made mistakes as being a president. He does that in the campaign all the time. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just trying to, like, watch it all.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I feel I need to, like, put a stamp on that all the time, because I'm definitely not. Like, I'm as critical to him as I am everybody else.
Yeah.
But so I would say easily 21 million.
Yeah.
Of the country, right? Full-hearted. They love what he's doing.
Love the guy. Yeah.
How much does that leave? Because 73 million voted for him.
You're looking at probably about 52 million people that were swayed probably to him.
Moderate, and do it in a moderate scale. I'm not saying like all of them were swayed. So
yeah.
So you've probably got another 20 million that are Republican that just vote Republican. So you got 21%.
21, and then you probably have another 30.
So 20 is just a Republican that votes Republican, and then you got the conservative, middle of the road. They're gonna definitely. You're not gonna vote for Biden if you're a conservative.
Sure.
As you didn't vote for Obama if you were a conservative.
Sure.
You didn't vote for Hillary. You didn't vote for Clinton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you were a Bush voter, you probably voted for Trump.
What I would love to be is an independent. I think if you're an independent, you hold the country by the balls.
I honestly think that the independents swayed Trump more than Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I think the left totally voted for Biden. I think the extreme left voted for Biden.
No doubt.
I think how he got 81, by hook or by crook, quoting Obama, he got a lot. They got a lot of votes of anti-Trump, and there is a lot of anti-Trump out there.
There is a lot of anti-Trump, and I think this
And-
was
and I
an
think-
anti-Trump election.
I honestly think that Trump got more of the actual traditional voters, and because Trump is such an asshole,
Yeah.
he invoked the Kraken of people that never voted. Were like, "Fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
That's my synopsis of the election.
Glued to this
Yes,
on their Twitter, and they hated.
that took the time out of their day that they never do, and they were like, "Fuck you! You're not getting voted
You're not
again."
getting my vote.
Which I
I'm
totally
gonna
understand.
control
I
that.
totally understand. The dude's a douche. I get it.
Yep.
But
But that
see,
has an impact.
But that's what my whole point. Sorry, I gave you an entire 2020 election.
Okay.
I just went on a rant there.
great. Bounce
But I'm
off
saying
the-
like 21 million was probably hardcore Trump supporters, and then another 20 million is probably, and then you're talking. I don't think the country's as divided
Yeah.
as the media is saying it is.
Well, and that kind of leads into the whole national divorce talk that we've seen. You know, you see like a couple of MAGA supporters going like, "Yeah, we should divide up between red and blue," and I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, I'm living in a blue state. How's that exactly going to work?"
It's not going to work. It's not. I live in a red state. I'm just going to say it's not going to work well because if Texas wants to succeed every Tuesday for the last 59 years or whatever, you don't want that to happen because you don't have anything.
Tried that. The South also tried that in 1861.
Yeah.
And that didn't exactly work out well. We had a horrible civil war.
But here's the problem that I see, and maybe this is, I'll give you a little bit of red and you give me a little blue from the media. So what is happening here is Texas as a whole is like, fuck it. We don't need to help you. Because Texas has, correct me if I'm wrong, it's between 89 to 91% of import to the rest of the countries. So Texas has always been willing to just be like, we're self-sufficient.
We're self-sufficient.
Like, we're fine. As long as a winter storm doesn't happen, we're great.
Yeah.
But I can
I would
see,
say Pennsylvania is moderately fine because it's like we've got like good agriculture up here, so it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
But that's between Pittsburgh and Philly.
Yeah.
That is very red.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, I think it was Marjorie Greene, who I'm not a big fan of, to be perfectly honest.
Not a fan either.
She had like her own poll of like, okay, do you want to have like, what about this national divorce? Do you think we should have it or not? And a majority said no. We're talking like 48% said no.
Yeah.
9%
That scares me that it was only
Right.
48%.
9% were undecided. 43% said yes, we should divide between red and blue. And I'm thinking to myself, her comment was, this is why people want a national divorce. And I'm like, sweetheart, timeout. The argument is not that. The argument should be you go after hard the 9% that are undecided and you convince them, yes, it's difficult right now, but we will get through this. We will get through difficult times. We have had in the past, and we will in the future. You just have to make sure to stick with it, treat your neighbors right, help them out when they need help, all that kind of stuff. And to the 43%, suck it up, buttercup. I'm sorry to say that, but it's like, come on. Put your pants on one leg at a time. Stop whining. Stop complaining about your political opponents and do something for them for a change. Do something for them to service your political enemies. Serve them. Help them out in their time of need. That's my whole argument. And I could not believe what I was looking at. I said that to you, what was it, yesterday, John? I said, is this woman an idiot for saying that 43%, I second in minority, saying, oh, this is why people want a national divorce? Get out of here. You have a majority saying that they don't. What is this, Bernie Sanders? I mean, for crying out loud, Bernie will be like, oh, yeah, that's the minority. We got to get out of here with that bullshit. I'm serious.
But that's the ridiculous political game, and we talked about it with 2022.
Sorry for being heated, but it's like it's
no.
Yeah.
Please, that's your opinion. You need to let that go. Yeah, but it's the same thing. It was a poll of what? It was less than 200,000 people.
Yeah.
I think it was 18. I think it was 18,000 people.
It was right off of her Twitter.
But yeah, it was like
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 18,000 people.
Yeah.
Which is a good
Sizable
gauge of the country.
Sure.
It definitely is. But my problem is when you put a poll out, this is the thing that they like to do. This is another media shot I'm going to take. This is, again, learned from ESPN. You can run a debate off of a poll. This is what people believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go outside. I'm going to take a poll of 10 people, right, of the hotel that I'm staying in, right? And 9 of them are going to say, I hate it here. This is the worst place ever. And one's going to be like, I love it here. I'm blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to write an article, right, in the paper, how shitty this place is.
Yeah.
Off of just one
stupid poll.
One stupid opinion poll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because so I'm writing an opinion piece, but I write it as news, and that's what these politicians do.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you said with the majority of the minority. That's what needs to stop.
It really does. And if anything, Marjorie Greene, as a representative of the U.S. House of Representatives, I should say, really should promote common, like a collective, United States front type of thing, where it's like, you're an American. That's most important. And we have disagreements politically, but it's not your main identity. Sorry, it's not. It should never be your main identity.
No, your flag is your identity. End of story.
Exactly. Yeah, be happy that you're here. Not many people have the ability to do what you do, basically, when you could go out and do whatever the hell you want.
Well, the Taliban doesn't allow Twitter.
Yeah, among other things. Under pain of death.
That's like the reality of the whole thing. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
We would not survive in Afghanistan.
No, we would not.
We would not be on YouTube in Afghanistan.
No, we would not be.
And we are very thankful we live here.
Amen to that. And that's why I love doing this with you, brother. But now we've hit the happy segment, brother.
Yes, sir.
And,
we have. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Let me take this over. Let me be the host for a moment. I'm so happy for this. So Matt went on vacation.
By the way, I'll say this: you did a great job. I will say, doing the whole thing with Steve. Come on. I mean,
I'm a bumbling idiot, but thank you for being nice to me.
2 noobs. I'm not.
Exactly. I had fun. I actually had fun in that role, and maybe we'll switch it up sometime.
Switch it up
we never know.
Absolutely.
We got some stuff coming up, so just for 2 noobs listeners and viewers, we're working really hard. This is gonna be TV quality very soon, I promise. Very soon.
We're getting there for sure. Yeah.
Very soon. We're kind of there now.
Let's do it.
We're kind of there now. But let's get into so Matt went on vacation. So I begged Matt, just so you know, I begged Matt for video and photos. Begged him before he even went, like for 2 noobs. So I'm gonna throw this up on the screen real quick. And we're gonna go through this. Matt, please explain everything as we go.
Yeah, sure. So this is Scott at Colonial Williamsburg loading a musket rifle at the shooting range that I was at. And the next picture that's here is me getting ready to hold this 18th century reproduction of a musket rifle. My first time I'm ever firing a gun. And the next shot is me getting ready to aim said musket rifle. Just getting, again, the feel of it, that kind of a deal. So here are some videos of me actually taking some shots, Johnny. This is me over the shoulder. I love that sound. I just love that. It's a side angle shot. And this is the money shot, which I absolutely love. This is a slow-mo video that was done on my widescreen off of my phone, which I can't believe. It's just amazing. I just love that shot. Just absolutely love it. So yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Talk about it. Tell us some things.
It was great. I mean, it was. I have been a couple weeks ago. I was thinking like I need a vacation. I need to get away from here. And I was thinking, oh, do I really want to? Do I go Boston? I go somewhere. Florida. I've been there before. I haven't been to Williamsburg in a while. It's like, well, maybe I'll go down there. So I went down there, and of course, what sold me was firing the flintlock rifle, this 18th century reproduction of what the British and the American soldiers used during the field of battle. It was phenomenal. And so part of it was really great. They gave me this little solid musket ball.
Beautiful.
Which, let me tell you something. This has some weight to it. This is a solid couple ounces of lead. So this was, of course, loaded into my gun and came out. We're talking like 700 to 800 feet per second. I mean, this thing was out real fast, as you saw with a couple of those overhand shots. So I went through the whole thing. You sign up. It's like maybe just a little under $100. And you meet a couple of instructors, and they're in their own van. You provide your own transportation. You follow them all the way out to the shooting range, which was maybe about 1.5 miles away from the main Colonial Williamsburg site. So I get there, and it's beautiful. It's just like you're back in the Virginia countryside. You've got this huge mound, so it's like you're just shooting right into this huge hill that had to have been at least a couple of stories tall, maybe 2 feet, easily 20 feet up. So you're just firing in the dirt, basically, but you have like about 300 to 400 yards of a target in front of you. And so they talk you through about the entire, this is what the colonists would have fired. This is what the British would have fired. All that kind of stuff. Walk you through the ammunition changes, how to load it, all that kind of stuff. I, of course, tell them, I've never fired a gun in my life. Not once. So they're like, okay, well, we'll load it for you. I was like, okay, that's good. So Scott was, the guy in the black shirt, was really good. He did everything perfectly. He was loading it. And so how it works was, what you end up doing is you basically it's like a wad of newspaper that's probably about let's just say like a finger length, where you have like your packed black powder stuffed tightly inside with your musket ball in one part, and then the bottom part is another part of black powder, basically. So you rip one part off and you pour like into a very small, I'm going to call it teaspoon sized pan. That was on the top when you saw the flintlock kind of go down on top of and cause the spark. So that black powder gets loaded. Then, at the end of it, you stuff the ball and the other black powder inside, and you ram that all the way straight down to form a tight seal. Once that gets all loaded, you pull back the flintlock just a halfway. And so then I was able to just carry it out, following their instructions. And it's like, okay, here's what you do. Pull the cock back all the way. So you hear that, and it's a really beautiful sound, like click, and it's so loud. It was amazing. And then you take the flint off. Basically, there was this leather strap. You saw that kind of dangling back and forth there. That was nothing but leather that was holding the flintlock from striking against the flint. A lot of times, sometimes that would be the safety mechanism, so that if it did hit that, it would not strike. That kind of a deal, so that way it wouldn't explode and go off suddenly. So that comes off, you get the whole thing, and then you mount it basically with your right elbow kind of sticking up and out. So you have the butt of the rifle kind of sitting right here, and you're kind of aiming just like this. So you just go out and you squeeze and you pull. The force on the return shock, the recoil, caught me by surprise the first time I did it. The musket is about 7 to 8 pounds heavy. So it's a pretty good size rifle that you got basically sitting on top. You don't grip it like this, you just have the rifle kind of just sitting like right here. And so you're like right there, and you pull the trigger, and it was a good kickback. It was really amazing. I was expected to be kind of like that, but it wasn't that strong at all. I got used to it after maybe about the second shot. I fired 12 shots, John. I mean, it was the greatest thing. So I switched that between the regular musket rifle and then what they call a fowler rifle, which was if you can imagine, fowl. So you're hunting, rabbits, birds, other pests in your garden. You're going to use that kind of a rifle to shoot and kill those pests, basically. They didn't have mouse traps, I guess, back then, or maybe they did. But in
Well,
any
that
event,
was
they
their
trained me
mousetrap.
on both of those things, and I ended up with this certificate of achievement on October 11th, 2021, which was really cool. I also have this sticker saying that, of course, I shot a musket. That was really sweet. And then, of course, here's my target. So as you can see, auto listeners aren't going to see this, but you got one hole up here at the top. You got one that's like right here. Nailed this bottle, smashed this sucker. One that was kind of just a little bit off the beaten path, but then I was really proud of these two shots, kind of like right in the middle there.
Good
So
work,
I destroyed that bottle with extreme prejudice. I'll just put it that way. But that was just an amazing, amazing adventure. It was tough to aim. Surprisingly tough to aim. When I was kind of going through the briefings, it was like there isn't much of a sight line, but what you're basically doing is you're just trying to guide it where the target is. There is no line of sight on some of these things. So it is difficult to kind of just aim and point to see where it is. But as long as you're straight on, you're going to hit something, basically. And I asked my father, of course, we've had on the podcast before, so what's like the accuracy? Most good colonists could fire and hit within their target about 5 shots of maybe 10. They would hit 4 out of 5. Now, the British back then, they were like more 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were very proficient, which really just says something after years and years of all doing all of this, you know, how we fought the War of Independence and how we eventually got all of our weapons lined up and everything. But it was amazing. It was just an amazing thing. So if you ever go down Colonial Williamsburg, it's a long haul. It's about 280 miles from Philly, but it's definitely worth the investment. It's about an hour for sure. And I cannot thank Jeff, who was there, who was like the lead instructor. Scott, of course, was my, you know, the guy I was listening to mostly. And they have a really good girl. I think her name was Sarah. And so she was talking about the different types of ammunition and all that kind of stuff. So it was an amazing experience. Something I'll never forget. I was debating doing it again on Friday morning, but then it was too late. You know, all the tickets had sold out. It was really amazing. It was just a phenomenal experience, John. Can't say anything higher about it, really.
That's awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you had a nice vacation.
Yeah. It was really
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And of course, like I'm repping the Colonial Williamsburg
sweatshirt
here. So it says, "Study the past if you would define the future." So
great
that's
quote.
That's a great quote. I love it. But yeah, it's something that it was great. It was just really cool. Got to see Yorktown, Jamestown, all that kind of good stuff. So it was really good. Good pacing.
Beautiful. All right, let's do some shameless plugs now.
Let's do it. Set it up on those socials. You want me to go ahead and let's flip it up here a little bit?
Yeah, let's flip it up, bud. Come on, let's do it backwards. Why not?
All right. Well, of course, we're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and TikTok. We love our people on Instagram and TikTok that have been giving us so many different views, of course, over the years. Clapper, I think we've pretty much like nixed that to death, right?
That goes away. Yeah.
That's a
Steve
shame,
gave it the
I
kibosh.
thought they had like something that was pretty good.
I thought it had something, but
Yeah,
hey.
I guess not. But yeah, Facebook, of course, we're starting to come back a little bit to that. But that's where our main social pages
Thank
are.
Doc page.
Yep, exactly. Of course, we create short little videos there that bring us to
our YouTube channel, where we are doing well with views. And please like, share, subscribe, just get the word out. We try to do as much as we can to get the word out. But if you like something, if you like an episode, view it, multiple times, share it to other people, because it does do us well. The algorithm is doing well for us because we do get similar views each week, which is awesome. YouTube we will extend out, because, YouTube isn't the only game in town, but right now YouTube helps us kind of get the word out, which is great.
No doubt. Of course, on our audio side, Johnny, we love our audio listeners. We've had everybody from, of course, like all across the United States, but we're most proud of our Brazilian listeners, even in the early days. Yes. Of course, you can find us we're proudly supported by Podbean, which, of course, then distributes it out to our Apple listeners, and then, of course, our Google listeners. We're also Googleable, if I can say that right.
Yeah, we still haven't spelled that out.
We are on Spotify, but they suck really, really bad.
We are on Spotify, but they do suck.
But they do, yeah, they are terrible. So we try to avoid that as much as we possibly can. But yeah, and of course we're on iHeartRadio as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and we also have show notes, don't we?
We absolutely have show notes, and if gotta go, but you gotta see 53 because I don't remember how I did it. We have a WordPress website, so we are on WordPress. Two Noobs Talking at WordPress.com or whatever that is, something like that. We'll put it up on the screen. It'll work itself out. We eventually get our show notes over there. 52 and 53 I think went out at the same time. I was busy. But no, we do have show notes. WordPress, it'll be down on the bottom of the screen. You can subscribe to WordPress if you just put your email in there and hit subscribe. They'll email you after we post it.
There you go. So there you go.
So Matt, do you have anything else to say?
John, on to year 2. On to year 2, brother. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cheers. We're gonna end this with our homage to all the people that have helped us. Just really quickly, a special thanks to Maya, who produced this in early when we didn't know anything about anything. Mikey Bowles, thank you for coming on and teaching us a thing or two about being a human. Steve Merry, of course, great human being. Tom Holzerman, Alex Page, your father, probably the best episode we ever had. Check it out. Great interview.
Shout out. Yeah, no doubt.
Great interview. Anybody else?
I think that's pretty much it. If we have missed anybody, we're really sorry, but I think that's pretty much it, bud.
We also got Adam for making us TV quality at this point.
Adam Fells, our executive producer.
Yes.
In name only.
Yes. Yeah. Doesn't even want to do it, but we force him to do it all the time.
Exactly.
So we just wanted to say thank you for all and everything.
Until then, on to year 2, Johnny, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.
This country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by a bunch of idiots. Why do the members of the United States Senate continue to double down on stupid?